Kathy. I have had a relationship with Todd and Jerry and his family for about 17 years. Todd was God sent, wonderful person to everyone. And, you know, I just don't know what it's going to be like without him being where he was and his parties and just talking to him every once in a while. He was just a great person. He loved everybody. He was good to everybody. And I just hope I did good with his memory, you know, sharing his memory for everybody. I like to throw parties, so.
You're next in line.
I hope I'm not next in line. There's a little information on the table. I just want to touch on it real quickly. There's a woman that has a foundation called Andy Hall's Sunshine Foundation. And he left this world very young, kind of like Todd. And she goes around speaking to people at a young age, to schools and stuff about, you know, things that happen like this. And you can either donate to her website in lieu of flowers and stuff for the family, or you can leave donations with me and I'll see that she gets them. I know her personally. She's an awesome lady. You can see her website. And I'd like to hear you guys come up here and say a few things. Anybody that would like to come and share their memories of Thirsty Thursday. Where are you, Alicia? And all the fun parties at Halloween that we've had over the years. Anyway, I'm going to turn this over to Jerry.
Thank you, Kathy. For you guys that don't know me, I'm Todd's brother from California. I love my brother. I wish he was here. This is hard, hard, hard. Todd and I had big plans. We were going to Austin in a couple of weeks. On a cruise. We were going to Egypt. All of that had been paid for already. You know, we had future plans. I thought this was going to be a good time for all of us. So, I'm heartbroken. So,
Love your brother.
My family life with Todd has been difficult. We didn't live together most of our lives. So, you know, I was in California, he was here, but even when we were children, we didn't live in the same house. My mom died about 1.5 years ago. And as part of that, Todd said, hey, I'll come to California and I'll remodel mom's house so we can sell it. And the 4 months that Todd was in California was the closest I'd been with him in my entire life. Todd told me that he had a dream, that our mother came to him in a dream and said, I left the house a mess intentionally. So you and Todd could spend time together. So it was great to have Todd in my life just a few miles away for 4 months. We became a lot closer. We saw each other a lot. It was the secret gift of my mom's passing. So I'm looking forward to whatever the secret gift will be of Todd passing. I don't know yet. I know Todd had a huge social circle here. and I'm absolutely thrilled to see everybody here. I'm actually recording this for California family. So,
No pressure.
no pressure. So that if I can pick up the computer and pan the room, if you guys can all jump up and down and yell, "Hey, Todd, love you, bro," or something like that, I'd appreciate it. And I think they would too. So just 1 second. Hold this, Cap. Okay. Everybody get up and jump up and down and scream. Thank you. You guys are great. At this point, this will be open time if anybody wants to come and say something about Todd. You're welcome to. I don't want anybody to feel the pressure, but I'm sure everybody in here loved Todd in a way, and Todd loved you guys. I know he, in my mind, he was kind of like the collector of people, bringing him to his home over and over again. So if that clearly was a gift that Todd had. So thank you all for being here. And I'll put the microphone here if anybody wants to come up.
Too much. I'm nervous up there. I just wanted to get this out all this fresh in my mind. My name's Gian, by the way. I'm just from California. Heartbroken. Brother, thank you for what you said. It resonated so deeply with me on the flight here last night since I found out. Synchronicity, I've been having the same thought process. Like, where's the gift? Right? I haven't figured it out yet, but so that just resonated with me very deeply. And then to tie on what you said, it's exactly right. I've known Todd 16 years. He took me in as a young man. We're actually, this partner for the last 3 years, and sharing with me he's been in California, redoing you guys' mom's house. So that's all I got to say. Other than thank you everybody for loving Todd. I know that he loved all of us so big and so deeply. He taught me so much about that. And, this is super surreal.
Hello, everybody. And for those that don't know me, I'm Jason. Known Todd for almost 40 years. I'd be lying to say that I share everybody's shock, and dismay, and grief. But today, I think everybody should really focus on the positive things that Todd brought into this life that we know. I met him, lived next door to me up in the Bay Area, and I met him around, it's like 12 or 13 years old. And he was in high school, I was in junior high. And he just took me under his wing, took me driving, taught me how to drive when I was 14. I don't know if my parents know that, but did a lot of things with him for the first time, and he was like an older brother to me. I'll always remember you always know Todd's coming because you can hear the rumble of his Mach 1 Mustang like a mile away. 10 minutes later, he showed up. I'm like, dude, he's like, that was the voice of Todd. It was powerful. He's a powerful person. He touched so many people's lives. I mean, I could spend all day talking to you about stories, good times with him. You know, I miss him. It's been hard for me to process. I knew this would happen now, but because I've lost others in my life that were very close to me, and Todd was really close. Real close. I mean, but I always remember that happy voice. He was always very supportive. I mean, you know, and I counted on him. I looked up to him. I mean, he was just this powerful leader and force who brought people together. He built, and sure enough, they came. And he was not selfish in any way. He wanted others to be well and support others and live through others. He did not feel good unless everybody else around him was okay. And I think his love and support was just unidirectional. And we all loved him, but it's just, I can be lonely at the top sometimes, I guess. I mean, I didn't plan on what I would say. I just wanted to come up here and it's my love for him and remember him.
Hey everyone, my name is Chris. I've known Todd, just like Jason, we're from Northern California. I live in San Diego now, but I've known Todd since I was in high school. This is like the late 80s, and I think Todd was 1 or 2 years ahead of me. And we connected on music instantly. I was really big into Metallica and all these heavy bands, and he said, "Have you heard a band called Queensryche?" I said, "I've heard of them, but I don't know." He goes, "You got to hear these guys." So, of course, we connected on that, and we really became really close friends. And he would just appear. You would hear the rumble of his car, just like Jason said. Maybe a quarter mile away, maybe blocks away, you hear the blub, 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 blub. Oh, here comes Todd. And it was that huge Mach 1 Mustang that he was constantly working on, but it was so fun. Ride in. We'd be driving down Lawrence Expressway in Santa Clara, and he would put on Queensryche, and he had this setup where it was literally like house stereo speakers in the back seat of his car. It wasn't like a setup like you normally have. He had this thing where it was like, how did you even hook that up? But he would blast this, and we wouldn't even have to talk. He would just show up, you would hear this car coming, and I knew it was Todd. It was time to, and it would be like on a school night, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday night, and you hear this rumble. Oh, here comes Todd, and I opened the window. Mom didn't know. Open the window, all out. And we just cruised around Santa Clara. And he goes, "Just listen to this song. Listen to this part. Listen to these vocals." And it was mind-opening. It was mind-blowing. And we had such a good connection with music. As a musician myself, and I consider him an amazing mentor for music. And he opened my mind to a lot of different things, not only music, but friendship, caring, love, bringing people together. He moved to Arizona, and we continued to be friends. We kind of lost our connection over the years a little bit, we still stayed in touch. He would come to Pride in San Diego whenever he had a chance and stay with us. That was always fun to see him. But instead of being sad, and instead of being mired down in the unknown and the confusion and all this stuff, let's be happy. Todd would want us to be happy today. Todd would want to have a party. Todd was great with parties. He's here right now, and he's so happy that everyone's here together, just like he would want. So let's enjoy our time together, just like Todd would want us to. He loved his vehicles. He loved his loud music. He loved his loud engines. Let's remember that. Every time we hear a loud V8 motor out there, every time you hear Queensryche, every time you hear AC/DC, every time you hear Dio, think of Todd. Because that's what he's doing right now. He's blasting it. He's going, yeah! That's what he would do when it was on. And I'll leave this one thought to you that came to me the other day, and I don't know if you guys ever remember this thing called Beavis and Butthead back in the day on MTV. There was a character on Beavis and Butthead, if you've ever noticed, named Todd. And I don't know if they somehow knew about him or what, but there was a character in Beavis and Butthead named Todd, who was a little bit older, had kind of the long hair, drove a muscle car, and was a cool dude. And if you ever get a chance, look that up, because that's basically a cartoon version of Todd. He's a wonderful person. He is a wonderful person, will always be a wonderful person, and he touched all of us. Remember him the way we always did. Remember the good times. Remember the happiness. Remember the music. Remember the rush you got when he stepped on that accelerator and threw you back into the seat with that music blasting. Thank you.
The microphone's up here.
Hello, everybody. My name is Caleb Willow. Anyways, my name is Caleb Willow. Nice to meet you. I'm better at speeches and writing them, so I figured I'd just write this up. I, like many of you here, met Todd after having been invited to one of his colossal holiday parties. It was probably Halloween, but it might have been summer movie night at the pool or some Christmas-themed shindig. You may not have known exactly who he was when you first entered his always under construction home. But the minute you got introduced to him, you were welcomed with a hug and a kiss on the cheek. Hey, baby, welcome to the party. Booze over there, bathroom in there, and twinks over here. Todd was always smiling, and you could hear his laugh from across the room. His warm embrace and his overall hospitality made everybody feel welcomed, and there was rarely ever any drama when Todd was around. He was our unproblematic king. Throughout the years, we saw his house turn into the gorgeous space that it is now, and how it reflected the beautiful man that designed it. No matter who you were, as long as you respected him and his space, you were always welcome back into his home. Even if you had met Todd once, if he saw you out at a bar or event, he would remember you and hug you and kiss you the same way every single time. He just made you feel loved. And in a community where we didn't have a lot of love coming from the older men in our lives, Todd gifted us with exactly what we needed when we needed it. He was always there to rescue a downtrodden friend, and he never asked for anything in return. If you were lost, he helped you get found. My favorite memories of Todd were when we would go to karaoke. He hit every note with gusto and confidence. He humbly knew he was the best Journey singer in all of Phoenix. Don't Stop Believing was his go-to song, and every single time after finishing the last note, he just smiled and embraced the cheers and claps that erupted afterwards. He was the world's greatest chauffeur as well, and I loved romping around the city with him in his Durango late at night. I always knew Todd was going to get me home safe. How many of you knew Todd was in the movie Clueless? He'd ask you that question and get you all excited and ready to see where he was in the iconic teen pop film. And sure enough, he was in that movie a couple of times, actually. He's so proud of his accomplishments, no matter how big or small they were. You could talk to Todd about anything: family and friend drama, cars, real estate, yoga, politics, aliens, and life after death. He didn't shy away from sharing advice or lending his perspective on any given topic. He was cultured, genuine, and most importantly, he remembered what you shared with him, even if it had been years since you'd seen him last. Rarely do we meet such caring people as Todd Singer was. I know that life happens and gets in the way of things, but he always caught up with you, even if for a little bit. We could all learn a few things from Todd, but what the main takeaway should be is that we are meant to love one another and to never stop believing. Rest in paradise, King. We'll see you on that midnight train. Thank you.
Sorry, I promised my mom. Yeah, I mean, Todd touched it. This is from my mom. Thank you, Todd, for your profound wisdom and for calling me Yvonne. At first, I was annoyed you did not call me Mrs. Mendy, since I was your friend's mom. I later realized you were treating me as an equal. I bow humbly to your values and philosophy. I was always fascinated by your words, how you treated people, your artisticness. You are beloved. You are also my secret guru. Just thinking about you made me step up to a better way, more compassion. So thankful you were part of the Mendy family in so many ways. Glad I got to sometimes attending to others with your super spirit and all-encompassing humanity. Please know I always admired you from afar, Sir Superstar. Todd always exuded star quality, and now he is one. He is one. He is a star. Look for those blue eyes in the sky, and he'll be there for you as usual. He will never be gone from any of us. Peace. Amazing one.
You know, it really sucks because the only thing I can say is I really miss my dad, and he was there for me. I had nothing. I had a birth father who he hurt me really bad, and he left me with no home, a place that's not called home. And I was dry heaving, and Todd picked me up, and he just knew that I'm not a tweaker. I'm not somebody that does hard drugs. I'm just a kid that smokes weed from time to time, maybe even every day. Who cares? But it's the fact that, you know, somebody cannot be your father, and they can still be your dad. And you know, Todd was really my dad, and I really miss him. I'm trying not to cry. I love you guys.
I just wanted to start off by saying I love you. You're a great mentor, lover, and friend. You always cared so much about others, just as much as you cared for yourself. Your joyful smile and boisterous laugh was so contagious. Your outgoing personality always lit up the room.
No matter where you went, you always drew attention. Just by the light, your aura glowed. Everything reminds me of you. And we're going to eternally miss you and all the fun things we did together. You were such a kind and loving soul. I'm exponentially grateful for all the valuable life lessons you've taught me. I wish I could hold and kiss you one more time. However, it brings me comfort knowing myself and everyone who knew you now have another guardian angel watching over them. Shine, rock on, and fly high, you beacon of light. Gone but never forgotten and forever in our hearts.
So my name is Ali, for those that know me. But I remember when I met Todd, it was 2018. We haven't known him as long as some people did, 40 plus years. But I met Todd when I was kind of in the closet. Nobody knew about me. I was just minding my own business. He gave me a home. He gave me a safe place that I can just be myself in. And he did teach us all a lot of lessons. But I think that the biggest lesson for all of us, I guess the bright side of everything that's going on is that we can all look at him as a guide to love each other more, to care about one another more, to be there for each other. Reach out to that one friend you haven't talked to in so many years. You know, heck, even if it's been a week or two. Don't be afraid to be vulnerable around people. Don't be afraid to vent. Love better, care better, be better for yourself, for the ones around you. We should carry on Todd's kindness in his memory. And we should be kind to one another because that's honestly all he wanted to do in the world, was just to be kind and let the world a better place, which people just can be kinder to one another rather than what goes on in the world every single day in the world. So that's all I wanted to say. He may have not been a dad, but he may have not been a father, but he was definitely a dad for a lot of us. A big brother to some of us. He showed us a lot. He welcomed us all into his house. He threw fun parties, and for what was said already, like he's up there, he's partying, and he's watching, like he's watching us, and he's probably jamming some loud music in another Yukon Denali. You know, I may have not known him with a Mustang, but I've known the sound of that Denali whenever he rolls up for sure.
My name is Jeremy. So you've maybe heard this theme already, but for a lot of us, Todd was family. Within our space, we have this concept of chosen family, and it wasn't something that Todd said with words, but he said with his love. For those of you who don't know, unfortunately, a lot of us, we're not welcome in our own families. And as acceptance goes up, we are starting to find more of that. My partner and I are looking to have both of our biological families welcome and accept us. But that doesn't mean that we don't. Our community still doesn't need a chosen family. And there is no greater chosen family that can be created than the one that Todd created. We need these chosen families in our community, not just because we have our orphans that are rejected by theirs, but also because how do you as a little gay boy go to your older brother and who's straight and ask for dating advice? It's not the same. You need that older mentor in your life that maybe understands a little bit more about what your unique experience is. Todd found us, and he made this big circle that welcomed us in. And like Ali just said, to some of us, he was a dad. To some of us, he was a big brother. He brought some of us in to be each other's brothers. And he created a family. Absolutely a family. When he created this group text thing that we use for exactly one event, I saved it in my phone as the family. And it's still there, and I still saw it. I saw it the other day. It's like, oh, the family, still in the phone. Because that's who these people are to me. That's who he was. And while I didn't call him dad, though several times daddy jokingly, because that's what we did. And several times Trey mama. So that's what he wanted. He's like, Trey's the mama of the house. Yes. He was that person to us, to so many of us. And whether you were actively involved in the family yesterday or 10 years ago, you were always a part of it. And you always felt that brotherhood and that friendship with all of us. And as we talked about how are we going to remember Todd, I would have 3 challenges. 1, to any member of Todd's family, keep us together. 2, if you are LGBT, make sure that you create those spaces for the next generation of orphans and little ones that need advice and mentorship along the way. And 3, if you are not, make sure that the ones in your family who are feel welcome and accepted. Because those 3 things are things that Todd would absolutely want.
So I didn't want to speak originally, but I was like, it's for Todd, so I'm going to. I met him at a big old party, surprise. I'm surprised there's not like a big bottle of Tito's right here. Because I feel like, but I did order Tito's when I got here, like almost immediately. I saw Trey, bald, and then I was like, I needed Tito's. But I've known him for like a strong decade. I've only lived here 11 years, 12 years. So known him pretty much my entire life here in Arizona. And the thing that he did is he lifted up you as a person. He saw you and he made you feel loved, which is what everyone needs to feel. And he did that every, I'm gonna swear, fucking day. And it made it feel so great. He was a beautiful soul, and he will be surely missed. And that's really all I had to say, because I just want to say, like, beautiful person. And it's going to be hard without him, but I'm going to have another Cheetos for him.
Hello, everyone. My name is Garrett, and I'm Jason's little brother. Our Pee-wee, I used to call me P-Dub, which was short for Pee-wee. He was our next door neighbor when I was probably in about second or third grade. That's about how long I've known him, so about close to 40 years. And one of my earliest memories of Todd was he was in a film class for in high school, and he made this video, from Deep Theo, and it was Rainbows in the Dark. And there was one of the coolest things I've ever seen was the finger work on the guitar solo scene in that song. And there was a close-up of these fingers just going, just spot on to the music. And it was Todd, filming himself to that part, that video that he made for his class. And I thought it was the coolest thing I'd ever seen. Like, oh my God, that was like the most amazing guitar solo of all time. And it wasn't until I think my bachelor party that I had at his place, maybe 20 years later or however many, that I learned that he doesn't know how to play the guitar. I was like, wait, you didn't actually do that this whole time? Here I am thinking that was you. He just learned how to do it just to the music. And I was like, wow, what a mentor. And he didn't even play the guitar. But it was still one of the coolest guitar solo riffs I'd ever seen played in my life. And it was an air guitar. But that was Todd. He was such just a foundation and a rock for our family. And he was always there I've had my battles and my demons. I'm 6 years in recovery. And Todd was there through those dark times for both my brother and myself, my nephews, through tragedies in our family's life. And I just wanted to have this opportunity to say thank you to him. Maybe Todd, just for being there for us throughout our whole lives and being that inspiration and just opening up my mind to the world and to be able to see things differently. And he's made me, through this entire journey, like who I am today. Like he was just always there as the guy with the Mach 1, and that laugh, that deep voice, that laugh, and he was just this larger than life, just beautiful soul that I'm just so thankful and grateful and blessed that he was such a foundation in my life throughout my whole entire life. And we've always referred to him as Cousin Todd, because he was just part of the family, and he's always just his Cousin Todd. And I had my bachelor party at his house, and some of you were there, and I don't remember a lot of it. Remember being in the pool a lot, and he had that big giant projector screen from the pool with Crane's White blasting, 3 days of mayhem. And but I came out alive, all 10 fingers and toes. It was a success. And he just had that boat, the wake of fire, and with the who has a speedboat wrapped like a dragon with the flames shooting out, a wake of fire? That was just or his forerunner with "They Are Among Us," the aliens on the back of his forerunner. Anybody driving behind him was like, whoa, there's aliens around us everywhere, and they're among us. We are the, and he just was just such this. He is, just the guiding light for just all things beyond, you know, that some things we don't understand and other things we don't. But it's okay if you don't understand it all, because that's what makes us all beautiful and special and unique. And you really taught me how to of acceptance and you know, loud music and those solo notes and with Queensryche. Queen of the Rock. I mean, I can't do it like he can, but he was amazing. And I can only understand those solos that he had at the karaoke bars and stuff, or his house, of course. But yeah, I just love him to death, and he is just that guiding soul, and he'll continue to be that guiding soul of my life, you know. And I just wanted to say thank you, Todd. Thank you for everything that you've given me and my family. We love you.
I don't need
Okay, go ahead.
So I'm an emotional person, so forgive me. Todd, to me, 4 of my kids are here today. These 4 kids are here because of Todd saving my life, my kids' lives. 11 years ago, going through a bad divorce. I've met a lot of you at the parties, but Todd was not fun time Todd for us. He saved my daughter Madison and Matthias, my son Shane and my son Natasha, and my oldest son. Todd came into our lives when we were the darkest. He stood up, he became dad to my kids. He became the dad that walked out on my kids. He lifted them up. He gave them hope. He gave a lot of us hope. When my son Matthias was struggling the worst, he could always reach out to Todd, his dad. There may not have been blood, like so many of us, like Jeremy said. He accepted us. He loved us. We may not have known his demons, but he was there for us. My 5 kids, my 4 kids are here today. Because Todd loved all of you. Whether you were partners in his business, you were his partner in life, close friends, his brother, he was there picking you up when you didn't even know, giving you the light that you needed. Todd saved so many people in this room. And he's going to continue. Just keep thinking of the things that Todd would say to you. Keep thinking of how he saved your life and let that live on in your hearts. Because he saved my 4 kids. And he has saved someone else in here. Even you, Trey. And Alex. Love you.
Not much I can say. The one thing I do know though, Todd was a builder. You know, not only did he improve people's lives personally, but he went to people's lives, you know, emotionally, physically. You know, for me, he was more like a mentor. You know, he helped me out a lot and taught me a lot of things. You know, he loved to remodel houses. You know, And I always thought it was interesting because he was really good at it, super talented at it. He knew how to go about it every time. And anytime I'd do it, he would do it 10 times quicker and show me a different way. It's way better. Always. Sometimes it was frustrating, but he's really good at it. And it was always interesting for me because some people don't know if they know this or not, but he was dyslexic. So he'd see numbers backwards sometimes. And somehow he managed to always do his projects like almost perfect every time. So for me, it's been really hard to process because I've been like trying to figure out how to walk away from this, but not walk away from it, in a good spirit and mind. That's something that more recently he was focusing on to the best of his ability, is working on better, positivity in his life and having a good aura and being happy with everything around him and not paying attention to the negativity. So I mean, all I can say is for myself, and I hope everybody else at some point is able to, is like, we can look at this as a reason for us to, try to like remember him in such a great way and like learn from how he's been a part of all our lives, So, I'm definitely gonna miss him a lot. Met a lot of amazing people, a lot of really cool people and different personalities just because of him. He's like the center of like the world to me, So that's it.
My name is Travis. I've known Todd for about a decade now, and I mean, I could repeat everything that everybody just said up here, but I'm not going to. Todd had a way of telling you things that you didn't want to hear without pissing you off. He would say things that if somebody else said them to me, I'd be crawling over tables to fight them. And he always put it to me in a way that said, is this really how you want to behave, Travis? Or, is this really the kind of picture that you want to portray? But I never felt insulted. I always felt like he was just trying to grow me as a person. And I think that he did that with everybody that he encountered. I wouldn't be the person that I am today without having met him. And I'm really going to miss him. Thank you.
My name is Joe Bates. I hadn't known Todd as long as a lot of you in this room. Met a couple years ago through a mutual friend, and met at a bar actually. And that night, as we hugged goodnight, leaned into each other, and he says in my ear, "Man, it feels like I have known you for years." And I said the same thing. And the next day, we hung out all day and just continued to get closer. That first year, he took us to our first Bartlett, which was an experience. And anyone who knows my husband Jay knows that we don't travel light. We brought everything but the kitchen sink, but we did not bring big speakers, which, as has been said about the loud music, was a problem. We brought the speaker we had at the time, and it just couldn't cut it. And the first night, we had a pretty good setup trying to attract a crowd, and louder music happened a few trailers down from us. And as everyone's leaving, Todd and I make eye contact. And we both had the same idea. We didn't talk about it that night, but the next morning I was sitting in the truck, and Todd walks over, jumps in, and he says, "We're going to buy speakers, right?" I said, "Yep." And we drove into town, hit about 6 different stores, trying to find the largest speakers we possibly could to bring back to Bartlett, because God damn it, we were going to have the loudest music at the lake. And we did. And that's when I realized, that we were a lot alike. A lot alike. We didn't care what expense we had to go to. We were going to have a good time. And it was contagious with him. Later that year, we invited him over for Thanksgiving dinner. And he's very excited to come. He's, what can I bring? What can I bring? And And again, if anyone knows my husband, they know that you don't bring anything to our house. Jay cooks everything. So he's like, well, I'll bring liquor and I'll bring you guys a present. I'm like, okay. And he showed up with this giant silver vase thing. My opinion, it was hideous. But he's coming walking up to the house with it, proud of it. She's like, got you this. And I'm like, well, thanks. I'm like, I don't even know what this is. Set it there and fully planned on somehow getting rid of it, re-gifting it back to him. And the other morning, it sits by our front door. And the other morning, as I'm leaving, my coat catches it and knocks it over. And I turned around and I looked at it. And it's hideous. It's terrible. It doesn't go with our house. But I about cried because it fell over. And, it's hard because I'm sad. And I mean no offense, but goddamn it, I am fucking mad. I'm mad as hell. I'm mad at him. I'm mad at me. I think we all are. We all probably look bad and think. But he taught me one last thing. He taught me a lot. He taught me a lot. We had a lot of conversations fixing those jet skis every time we went to the lake. Anybody who knows mechanics knows that when two mechanics are working on something together, it's not about fixing. It's about two guys talking. And the last thing he taught me was that when you're around somebody and you constantly see them emptying their cup for others, check in. And you just better watch it when I see him again, because it's not going to go well for him. Thank you for indulging me. I appreciate it.
I know most of us could talk forever about some aspect of our lives with Todd. He was bigger than life in a lot of ways. I'm so thankful that he had you guys in his life, and I'm so thankful that I was part of it. You know, I've heard so many of these stories, and it reminds me of, oh yeah, Todd was like this. Oh yeah, Todd was like that. I don't think Todd would take back a single minute of how much he gave to others. But it does take something out of you. And so if you see people in your life that are giving a lot, make sure to check in with them. Because you don't always know what's happening on their end. So I'm going to close this now. If there's anybody that wants to jump up and say one more thing, we'll go ahead. Okay, here we go.
I know Todd, my name is Jay. My husband Joe is up here. I know everybody's talking about what, you know, Todd, everybody. He was there for everybody. Todd and I were definitely big hosts. We started sharing parties back and forth. We'll talk about what I taught Todd. I went to his house. It was actually Trey's and Todd's birthday, combination birthday. We had been to Todd's house a few times at that point. And God damn it, I always hated his charcuterie board. It just was horrific looking. God, you can't be doing this. So for Trey and Todd's birthday, we gifted them. We were actually on a trip to Santa Fe and we bought a beautiful charcuterie board. And for their birthday, I decided, you know what? I'm not just gonna give it to them. I'm gonna set it up. So next time he learned how to actually put one together, he was tickled to death. One big memory that I just remember is when he did it on his own. He used the board that we gave him. And we got to his house early. And all he wanted to do was, Jake, come here. I need to show you something. And I think he posted it all over Facebook. And I had brought in a big old 3-tier thing of chocolate covered strawberries, which he was like, you had to outdo me. I'm like, I didn't know you were doing this, but here you are. And he's like, now you ruined my diet. He ate half of them. I brought like 7 of them. I swear he ate half of them. But every time going to his house, besides sharing good times, good friends, good company, good drinks. Every time now I see a charcuterie board, I see him and how happy he was to be taught something that he didn't know he was doing wrong, at least in my eyes. But now I see one of the memories recently came up of him making one last year. And I definitely broke down, but it's something that I will always remember him for. That no matter if he taught you or you taught him something, he cherished it with all his heart. And I would say cheers to him. I know he's smiling down on all of us. And like everybody said, I know he would want us to just be happy and enjoy each other's company and don't forget each other. Be there for everybody anytime you can. Love you, everybody. Thank you.
I think it was at the party where you brought that board over. It was amazing, by the way.
Hello, everyone. My name is Vanessa, and I just wanted to say, when I met Todd, I felt like it was a movie. I've pretty much known him the whole time that I lived here, and I met Trey as well, and they were just so welcoming, and we can go on and on and on for hours about the love that surrounded them. As someone like myself who's never really had somewhere to feel like accepted, I just felt immediately immersed in like it was a movie, like, you know, how everybody you always see go to a big party and everyone looks beautiful and so nice. And that was just what I want to remember. I just want to remember how amazing that energy is, how amazing Todd's energy is and always will be. And it's gonna live on in each and every one of us and the things that he taught us. And the only thing that I'm sad about is that I didn't know him longer. Because to hear people who knew him longer, I wish I knew him more. So if you see me, I'm sorry, I'm really emotional. I'm a Cancer, so I'm gonna cry. But I just wanted to say thank you, Todd, for showing me love when I wasn't loving myself.
Okay. Okay. No worries.
So I'm gonna keep this short and sweet, but I do want to say that Todd was the most wonderful man I've ever met in my 24 years of life. I met him 5 years ago when I was incredibly depressed and lost in my life and didn't know who I was as a person. And I literally bumped into him when I was leaving my first ever Pride event, and we just kicked it off from there. And he just showed me how important it is to get the most out of your life and to do the things that you love and push yourself past your comfort zone, because it's all worth it in the end. And I'm always going to think of Todd. I'm always going to miss Todd. And I'm always going to remember the lessons and the memories that we shared together. And Todd, if you're listening, and I know you are, I just want to say thank you for everything that you've done for my life, as well as everybody else in this room. And thank you, Todd. We love you.
Well, I appreciate y'all being here. Thank you for cheering for Todd. Thank you for loving him in your own way. And this will be the end of the somewhat formal, informal portion. You're welcome to hang out until they kick us out of here. Okay, thank you very much.
Not really, but you know.